Moranan v'Rabbanon, Chashvei Rabbanim, Moirai v'Rabboisai, Achim L'Deyo. The most painful moments of these past 40 years that I am privileged to serve Agudah Yisrael are when those with whom you have the schus to work with are no longer among the living. During these years, many of our manhigim, a long roster of eminent Rashi Yeshiva, Rabbanim, Rabbeim, Zecher Tzadikim Levrocha, of Balabatim of great eminence headed by the unforgettable Rabbi Lemelech Tres, Zecher Tzadik Levrocha. This is a tiefer Wund. And now when I rise this evening to address the keynote session of Agudas Yisrael, and I don't see to my left that reassuring smile and nod of the head that I've been accustomed to for the past 20 years. The late with the Rosh Yeshiva, Rabbi Sherer Agudah, Zecher Tzadik Levrocha, gibt es weiter a Riss beim Herzen. As he too now takes his place in that gallery of Gedolei Torah, who collectively taught Klal Yisrael through Agudas Yisrael a mass shir in Masechta Avodas HaKlal. We strive with all our strength to tailor all our actions in their dimensions. But believe me, it is a difficult task indeed. And if it is difficult to live up to the deeds of the giants of our contemporary times, then it should indeed be mind-boggling to live up to the expectations of our Chazal, who seem to demand of us something absolutely impossible when they tell us, Chayev Odom Leima Mosa Yegia Maisai Le Maisa Avoisai. That one should strive that his actions should reach the himmlish, the celestial heights of the Avos HaKadoshim. How could we, in all honesty, even remotely match Avraham Avinu, Yitzchak Avinu, Yaakov Avinu? But I once heard a beautiful taich from that great manig who helped found the Agudas Yisrael in this country, the Heilige B'Yana Rebbe Zecher Tzadik Levrocha, who taiched this Maimah Chazal in this fashion. Azoi wie von der Meise Oveis ist geworden a ganze Teure. Azoi darf jetzt sehen, als für seine Meisem soll euch werden a Teure. Let me explain what he tried to teach us, what the B'Yana Rebbe is saying. The Oveis, and after them the long chain of Torah aristocracy from Moshe Rabbeinu through Yeshua, through the Zikanim and the Avim and the Asher Knesses HaGedolah and the Rishonim and the Achronim, down through the Gedolei Torah of our times, had one attribute in common. They lived and they toiled for Nitzchias, for eternity. They measured every action of theirs on the yardstick of the Nitzchias of Klal Yisrael. It is that goal of Mosa Yegia Maisai LeMaisa Avoisai of not living for the fleeting moments of pleasure, of self-indulgence and gratification, but directing one's action from a sense of history, of developing a lifestyle and a life program which will leave a mark on the surroundings. That type of goal, of living for Klal Yisrael, living for the next one, living for society at large, that is in the reach of every Jew, as tiny and Lilliputian as we may be compared to the Avos HaKadosh. My friends, 70 years ago in Katowice, and 60 years ago on the Lower East Side, an Agudas Yisrael movement was formed to make this goal come alive in our times. A bitter byproduct of our long wandering in the Golus, of Yisrael ben Amim, has been that we have suffering now from a loss of what I call a loss of spiritual appetite. What has happened because of the Golus? That we become mistapkim b'mu'at. We have dulled our senses. We've shortened the reach of the Jewish arm. And the Gedolei Torah who founded Agudas Yisrael acted out of conviction that the only way that we can instill in the Jewish neshama that inner strength to keep alive the dream of Mosai Yagia Maisa Avoisai zu Zenas von unserer Meisters over our Torah is through creating a Koyach HaRabim. And that Koyach HaRabim that they founded was Agudas Yisrael. And when Jews are mobilized in an organizational structure to strive for Malchus Hashem, then the Rabbim, the next one, lifts up the spirit of the faltering and encourages the lagging. Klal Yisrael, my dear friends, should be eternally indebted to the foresight of the Gedolei Torah for establishing such a machinery for Yisrael Sobo. The results are now a matter of record. During the course of this convention, many have spoken about the activities of Agudas Yisrael relating to other countries. With your kind permission, what I want to say in my brief remarks relate to the American scene. During past conventions, I have reported to you on Agudas Yisrael's work in the area of Hatzalah, of Chesed, of Russian Jewry, of Eretz Yisrael, of the battle against the deviationists who seek to tear down authentic Yiddishkeit. I've talked to you about the sense of pride and achrayus that Agudas Yisrael has instilled in masses. But tonight let me concentrate on just one single aspect, the fulfillment of the B'yana Rebbe's Taich. Because what Agudas Yisrael in this country has done is not only to fulfill that Taich in creating chapters in Torah history, but actually what Agudas Yisrael has done in the area of Limud HaTorah and Habotzas HaTorah in its fullest sense. During the course of this convention, and rightfully so, we have heard so much about the Daf Yomi. In all humility, I say to you tonight, before this distinguished dais leading Marbitzei Torah in our country, that today Agudas Yisrael is no longer only an ideology, only a fighter for Orthodox rights. Today, Agudas Yisrael has developed into the largest single centralized agency for Harbatzas Torah in the entire United States of America. Let me give you several reasons. As you already heard, the largest united Limit HaTorah program in the country, in the world, is Daf Yomi. But I hear from the original founders of the Agudas Yisrael in this country, when the first year of the Daf Yomi was said on the Lower East Side by Rabbi Gold, Rabbi Sherer Gold, 59 years ago for a few Bacharim. Throughout these 59 years, the Agudas Yisrael has spent heart and head and money to prod Jews to learn the Daf Yomi. And if we were so satisfied that after our last Siyum HaShas of the Daf Yomi 7.5 years ago in Manhattan Center, we doubled the amount of learning Daf Yomi. And now I hear some of our leaders of the Daf Yomi hoping that since this breathtaking Kiddush Hashem of the Madison Square Garden Siyum, we will once again double the amount of learning Daf Yomi. But I say to you, dear friends, this will not satisfy us. We will continue to promote, to prod, to instill in every Jewish heart that yearning for Torah, until every Jew, no matter where he comes from, who is not a Talmud, a yeshiva, will unite with all of Klal Yisrael by becoming part of this greatest yeshiva without walls, and that is the Daf Yomi. And if I may, tonight I'd like to extend to you an invitation. I suggest that you don't take out your diaries as yet to mark this date in your diaries, because we believe with all our hearts and with all our souls that Mashiach will come before. But I want to invite you tonight to the 18,000 seat huge hall of Madison Square Garden, which Agudas Yisrael of America has already rented for the 9th Siyum HaShas on Sunday at 2 p.m., Chav Zayin Issn Tov Shinun, April 22nd, 1990. But I'd like to give you a piece of advice. I'd like to give you a piece of advice. Please come several hours early then too, because I guarantee you, again, the hall will be too small. Let me, dear friends, give you another example of Agudas Yisrael's role for Torah and Torah Mamish. Do you know what is the single major factor responsible today for yeshivas and kollel of every type? And we do not discriminate against any yeshiva at all. The single factor responsible for millions upon millions of dollars being funneled to yeshivas and Talmidei yeshivas and parents, Be'ezus Hashem, of billions of dollars, and that is Agudas Yisrael. Ask the Menayel of your yeshiva or of your Beis Yaakov school to what address he turns for any problem a yeshiva has relating to government agencies. And that is the work of Agudas Yisrael. And that is what I'm trying to drive at here tonight. That besides all the huge problems with which Agudas Yisrael comes to grips, Agudas Yisrael today has become the greatest factor for Harbatzas Torah in the entire country. My Rabbi say, I once heard a beautiful thought in the name of the Mir Rosh Yeshiva Reb Chaim Shmulevitz, Zecher Tzadik Levracha. The Torah tells us, Makas B'choires, Vayokom Parei Lailo. Parei arose in the middle of the night. And Rashi points out, Mimitosai, he arose from his bed. And all the Farshim are terribly troubled. Why do we need Rashi to tell us where Paro arose from in the middle of the night? Certainly, he was in bed at that time. And the Rosh Yeshiva says that there's a deep lesson here for each and every one of us. Moshe Rabbeinu had warned Paro that every B'choyer would die. And Rashi wants to emphasize for us the Paro mentality. When Paro received that warning, what did he do? We must not learn from Paro. Never before, as pointed out here tonight, despite our spiritual poverty, never before have we witnessed an era such as ours, when the Jewish air is charged with electricity, when the Jewish neshamas are simply waiting to be elevated, to link up with their natural shayrish. Believe me, Jewish hearts today are open for the call. They're waiting for the motivation, they're waiting for the invitation. Those who come from not religious homes, how they can be won over to a taste of Torah. And those of us who come from frum homes, also, as you heard before, there's so much that has to be done to lift up and to elevate Shmiras HaMitzvahs and limits HaTorah, and we have so much that we can do to lift up ourselves to standards which were unthinkable 60 years ago when the American Agudah was formed. We dare not learn from Paro to go shlofen, to close our eyes to this historic challenge, when before us the challenge in the words of a Chazal is so simple. Whether we're going to have Torah, or whether we're going to have Rachmana Litzlan, Tayu V'Voyu. From the bottom of my heart, with every fiber of my neshama, dear friends, I appeal to every one of you to become a living part of this greatest coalition of Torah forces under the leadership of the Agudah of the Gedolei Torah, to fulfill this dream of Mosai Yagia Maisei LaMaisei Avoisai. There must once and for all come an end to the fragmentation, to the Zerpitzelkeit, to the terrible rending asunder from which our Orthodox community suffers so much. An end must come to that. As I look around here tonight, and I would like all of us to look with the same eyes. I do not see Jews from New York or from Chicago or from Los Angeles or Cleveland or Boston or Toronto. I do not see whether Chassidish Yidden, non-Chassidish Yidden, or whatever the Upstam, whatever land of origin. I see only Jews. Tayyare, Herzige Yidden. That's how we should see. I see only Jews. We share one common destiny. We share one common fate. Let us, I plead with you, join hands to work together unitedly to be able to say, V'tayel libeinu li'avdecha b'emes.